good friend here, Reverend Ken.
Thank you, Don. Thank you. And thank you all for coming out on a rainy Sunday. We're very glad you're here this morning. We're glad you're joining us online, but boy, you can't match the energy in this room. So it's going to be a great day. So got a couple of announcements before we get, wait a minute, I'm starting here. Just want to let you know this is a special place to be, even on this rainy Sunday morning. This is a unique spiritual community. It's a place that does not push our dogma on you. You don't have to believe anything. We encourage you to come to a God of your understanding, a power you can use in your life to create more joy, love, abundance, health, and prosperity. And to help do that in your life, one thing I encourage, and that is to leave all your troubles, your fears, your would'ves, your could'ves, leave that stuff outside, and for the next 45 minutes or so to open up an avenue of spirit possibilities. And what are spirit possibilities? Well, they're for more love, more joy, more happiness, more friendship, more laughter, more dance, all those things in life that make us feel alive, because that's what God is doing through you and through me, showing up in the physical, recognizing itself through our love, our joy, and our laughter. So know you're in a great place this morning, and Spirit is going to recognize and reward you abundantly. Well, I do have a couple of announcements before we get going. The first, I would like to thank everyone who made the Mystic Fair yesterday a huge success. We were able to raise a good bit of money. Yes, you can applaud. And so many people worked very hard to put that on. I mean, it's a real labor, and we have a whole crew of people who work very hard, starting, well, really Friday afternoon, going all the way till 7 o'clock on Saturday night. Tina Danielson, I don't think she's here this morning, but she helped organize it and plan it. Fran Stanko was here early Saturday morning and helping everybody get in their right place. David Hoke with a whole group of guys cleared the auditorium out and put it all back together. Joy Hamp was here making sure we had the money going. And so it was a lot of work, but it turned out really well, and it worked like clockwork. So I'm very grateful for all of you. Thank all of you. Yes. The Journey of the Soul, that's my class. That is Tuesdays at 6:30. That's continuing this Tuesday. We have a game night coming up. I think that is the 16th. That's at 6:30 in here. If you like to play games, come. We have free pizza. It'll be a really fun time. Elaine Malloy will start doing another series of classes next week after the service, and those will continue on for a couple of weeks. We have a teen outing that's going to take place on October 27th. So if you're a teen, or you can pass for a teen, we'll treat you to a free outing at the mini golf. And they've got, we're going to not only do you have a free golf thing, you also get some free refreshments. So who can beat that? And if you just want to come and encourage the teens on, that's a good thing too. And I said teens, but we just mean kids of all ages. The St. John's Botanical Garden, they have a special weekend coming up, and it's going to be October 19th and 27th. It's going to be 20th, not October 19th and 20th, on Route 13 towards Hastings, and that's going to be a really fun and beautiful thing. So if you get a chance, that'll be something free and easy to do. Finally, we have a special mailing we need to get out to our members. If you would like to stick around for a little bit, maybe 20 to 30 minutes, help us stuff some envelopes. We'll be over here in this corner. We can appreciate your help. That'll be right after service over in this corner. Well, those are all my announcements. I know there was a lot of them. So, Don, I know you got some great music to get us going this morning.
Bring the light, bring the light, let it shine on me. Bring the light, bring the light, let it shine on me. when it's too dark. Gone on too long, things look too stark, things feel too wrong. Turn it over, let it go, bro. Take a knee and bring the light, bring the light. Let it shine on me. Bring the light, bring the light. Let it shine on me. The circumstances may befall you, and there'll be chances, great and small, to write your story. It's not over. Wait and see, and bring the light, bring the light. Let it shine on me. Oh, you gotta bring the light, bring the light. Let it shine on me. Hey, you've gotta bring it, bring the light. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine on me. It makes no difference where you're standing. If you just reach out your hand, then things get better. If you give, sure, you'll receive. You'll receive, so bring the light. Hey, bring the light. Let it shine on me. Come on, you gotta bring the light. Oh, bring the light and let it shine, shine on me. Oh, you gotta bring the light.
Thank you, Don. Wow. Thank you, Don. That was wonderful. And now to get our service going, we're going to have a reading and treatment, and we got our own wonderful Jim Saul coming up to do it. Come on up, Jim.
Thank you. It's truly my pleasure. For the last 23 months, I have been writing a Spiritual Living Garden Club newsletter. And a lot of you get it via email. But this week, I was really trying to define, I guess, spirituality. And in doing it, what I found was that I can't separate spirituality from ecology. I just can't do it. Every time that I've had a really spiritual experience, it's been involved with nature. And sometimes that nature includes a human, because they're nature too. But it always includes being really aware, really conscious of my earthly surroundings. So in my newsletter this month, I have 3 little articles, one of which I have entitled Spiritually Connected Gardens. And so my newsletter is kind of a mix of spirituality and gardening. Some of it is garden tips, some of it is spiritual awakening tips. But this particular one, I really kind of thought was pretty good, and I've ruminated on it a lot this week, trying to kind of define what the difference is between a place that seems spiritually connected and a place that doesn't. And so this is, I'm not going to read it all because it's kind of long, but the last paragraph or so I'd like to read. So what does make my yard have that spiritual connection that I am trying to define? Now that I ask that, it's simple. take a walk in my yard and you will see it's vividly alive. When I walk around my yard, many butterflies dance on unseen air, floating from blossom to blossom. Squirrels run, bees buzz, and lizards scurry. Birds are found in the trees, flying from tree to tree, building nests and having young. The yard is happy. The trees are happy. The birds, squirrels, lizards, and butterflies are all happy. They all have a home, food to eat, shelter from storms. My yard is amazingly alive. This is something you will not find in my neighbor's yard. It feels dead. Then there is the last component, the observer, me recognizing the happiness, the divine beauty, the holiness of it all. And I believe most people walking through my yard would also recognize it. That divine connection to the beautiful source that only a loving creator could have engineered with just a little help from a gardener. So I love to be in my yard, love feeling that connection. I love to just linger there. Maybe I'll pull a few weeds or water some thirsty plants, just to be there. No one lingers in my neighbor's yard or even steps on the lawn. Humans must remember we are the cause of environmental degradation, which is a good thing, because then that means we can change how we interact with it, and change is truly needed. Until next time, be at peace. So let's take that idea of oneness, that idea of being connected to all things. Take a deep breath and go with me into prayer. I deeply know this divine intelligence is here. I can feel it, even in a Walmart parking lot. But it takes my dedicated attention to do that. So this week, what I know for us all today is that this week we will pay a little more attention to the trees and the bushes and the dragonflies and the mosquitoes, because God is all there is, which means everything that is here is God. At least that's what I believe. And I know that with this awareness comes a really deep internal healing of myself and of the world around me. So I give thanks truly to this center for giving me this platform. I give thanks for Reverend Ken and his messages, for they always uplift me. I give thanks for this divine intelligence, for being here. It guides me and teaches me and helps me to open my eyes to nature and to the divine. So I give thanks for it all, and I can release this prayer to be so this week, to let us all be a little more awake, aware. And I can release this prayer simply and easily by saying, and so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. That was lovely. So my talk this morning is Name Your Miracle. Name Your Miracle. As you know, in fact, every Sunday I end my talk with saying, your life is not a problem to be solved, it's a miracle unfolding. Someone this week asked me where that came from, and honestly, I didn't know. So I had to do some research. And not surprisingly, the core of it comes from this Danish philosopher who's had a big impact on particularly our teaching. He lived around the 1700s, and his name was Kierkegaard. I'm sure I'm kind of butchering that. But he was an advisor to kings and queens. He was a brilliant guy. He was intuitive, and he could prophet. Supposedly, the Queen of Sweden at some point thought she'd put him on the grill, and she said, tell me something I didn't know. I don't know. And according to history, he whispered something in her ear, and it shocked her so much that she didn't ask him another question. He had all kinds of experiences, and it started kind of late in life. He'd already achieved a lot of success by being this very intelligent advisor. Late in life, he began to have visions. He traveled to other planets. He went to other dimensions. He encountered aliens, other life forms, which no one in that era believed possible. I had someone this week ask me if there were aliens among us, why didn't we observe them? I told them, well, from my standpoint, they are aliens, but most of them are running for Congress these days. Yeah, it was a tough week. I had someone yell at me, actually, that I was a weirdo. I thanked them for the compliment. Let me tell you, in our era right now, with all the turmoil and confusions and storms we have going on, if you're not a little bit weird, a little bit, as Jewish friends would say, meshuggah, you're not paying attention to what's going on. So I'm okay with being weird. Now back to Kierkegaard. He actually even created a different form of Christianity. His denomination now is still around. He had a huge impact on our teaching, even though most of us don't really know that much about him. One of the big things that he said that we still believe very strongly in is a prayer does not change the mind of God, it changes the mind of the person doing the prayer. That's almost a cornerstone of our teaching. He also said there's a power for good in our lives, and we can use it. We can use it. It's flowing through us, it's empowering us, we can direct it. So with the situations that we're facing now, the storms that we have coming upon us, and not just the weather storms, the political storms, the cultural storms, how do we use this power? This past week, we were able to dodge a bullet with Helena, but now we have another storm coming. How do we respond to this level of turmoil and confusion? Well, first of all, I turn to prayer. That's the first thing you do. And you do your prayers at your level of your understanding and faith. Where are you in understanding and faith? Do you say prayers for this storm that's coming, somehow to make a dramatic change, to turn on its heels and go elsewhere? Well, if you have that level of faith, then certainly pray that. Because in God's universe, everything is possible. Everything is possible. Now, do I have that kind of faith? Well, I can accept it as a possibility, but for me, I can believe stronger that with prayer, there might be a lessening of the intensity of the storm. Maybe it faces some headwinds. Maybe the waters are a little bit cooler. I can put my prayers towards that. I can also put my prayers towards the idea that it moves so quickly, that it quickly moves across our state and goes into the Atlantic and causes very little damage. That's a prayer I can put my energy behind. We also want to do our prayers for our personal safety and preparing ourselves, getting our supplies ready. In our household, that always was a lot of water and Little Debbie snacks. Yeah. Don't badmouth Little Debbie. Little Debbie and Jesus can get you through almost anything you're confronting, so. And then you want to pray to have the wisdom to keep your eyes open to your environment. Do I need to evacuate? Do I need to put sandbags up? What do I need to do to keep myself safe and those around me safe? And then when the storm is gone, do your prayer work to uplift yourself and to uplift those who are in need. And then put your hands to working to help out those that are in need. This week, part of our donation will go to our center in Asheville. They're experiencing some challenges, obviously. So we want to send some of our blessings on to them. Now, is it going to be enough to solve all their problems? No, but it's what we can do. It's what we can do. There's a Buddhist story where a teacher and his student are walking the beaches, and they come to a place where it's littered with starfish. The teacher reaches down, he picks up one of the starship fish, and he throws it back in the ocean. The student tells him, he says, "But master, you can't save them all." And the teacher replies, "But I saved that one. I saved that one." Do what you can with right in front of you. You don't have to make yourself a victim. You don't have to make yourself a martyr. Do what you can joyfully with your abundance, and it will be enough to multiply and to create a ripple of good. And that's what has been coming more and more to me as I go through my own spiritual journey. We pray for miracles, we pray for blessings, we pray for support from Spirit, but perhaps it's actually us that need to step up and need to become the miracle we're looking for. We need to become the blessing people are seeking. We're that powerful. We're a channel of God's good right here on earth. And the good that we do will be multiplied. The universe will not allow our impulse of love to go to waste. There's no power for evil in the universe. Evil is something we have created on our own, and we're the ones that give it energy. And we can give it a lot of energy because we believe in it most fervently. That's the reason it has such power. But when we give our energy to the impulse of love, that power has all of the universe behind it. So our single impulse is multiplied by the universe, and it can move out and do tremendous good that we cannot even envision. Every avalanche starts with one small pebble rolling down a mountainside. And that impulse for love is the law that first moved Spirit's thought of creation into manifestation. And so we are powerful, and we can direct our world back to a more loving and compassionate and kind place. In the e-blessing, I included a video this week, and it was about a barber. I think he's in Cincinnati, and he helps kids who are on the autistic spectrum because they have a lot of difficulty going to a barber and having the razor or scissors close to their heads. The sound bothers them a great deal. One father talked about how he had taken his son to a traditional barber, and they had him sit in the chair and bear hug his little guy when they cut his hair. And he said, "I'm not doing that again to this child." He says, "I know how difficult it is for this little guy to face the world, how much courage it takes for him to face the world, and I'm not inflicting that on him." So they found this barber, and what this barber does is he just interacts with them. He takes it very slow, and he tells them what's going on, and he encourages them. He tells them he's very proud of them. He also gives them power, so that when he's cutting their hair, if they get too anxious, he'll stop. And all you have to do is tell me to stop. And he's able to get most of them through this. Now, it doesn't sound like much, but to those parents, it's a miracle. To them, it's a miracle. And they talk about how, just that one thing, helping their kid get out into the world and having a more normal experience, how much of a blessing that is. We never know what great good we can do. Just being a little bit of compassion. What did the Dalai Lama say? My religion is kindness. Just being kind to one another. Ernest Holmes says, we're surrounded by infinite possibilities. It's goodness, it's life, it's law, it's reason, and is expressing itself through us. For spirit to be complete, we are needed. We are part of the unfoldment, and our dreams and desires are needed and necessary. Life won't be complete without them. Life won't be complete. As this next storm is barreling for us, I had a vision of how life could be and in the future. And I really think we're going to get to a place where we're going to develop strategies and we're going to have technologies that we'll be able to lessen the effect of these storms, and we'll be able to live more easily with them. Now, I know that sounds like science fiction. I know that sounds just completely impossible, but consider this. When I was a little kid, and though it seems like a long time ago, but in the scope of history, it wasn't really that long ago, this watch that I have on this morning was a thing of fantasy. Although I knew one person who had one. He had one that did all of this. He could tell the time, he could make calls on it, he could get information from it. And his name was Dick Tracy. And he was in the comic papers. And it was that much of a fantasy that he had something like this, but now it's a reality. It's a reality. Why not our hopes and dreams to become reality? Why not our inspirations to make the world a better place? More compassionate, more kind, more giving, more loving. Why not a world where we can envision war being done with, people living in peace and harmony, people respecting one another, people doing everything in their power to raise the next generation in hope and love and joy? It doesn't have to be a fantasy. It can be a reality if we will put our minds, our hearts, and souls, if we will step out in prayer, if we will make the determination. We're not going to be involved in all that confusion. That may be the reality, but we know the truth. The truth is that we're channels of spirit, and we've come to life to experience great good. Life is a miracle unfolding every moment. It reveals itself to us through the beauty of nature. It's not something to be dissected or figured out like a puzzle. It's something to be witnessed and celebrated. The mere act of breathing and the turning of the seasons and the beating of our hearts, these are a reminder that we are part of a vast, dynamic tapestry of creation. Each experience, no matter how small or grand, holds the potential for awe and wonder. And our task is not to control life, but to embrace it, to recognize its miraculous nature and witness the blessings as they appear before us, and then amplify them and move them out into the world so that our lives itself can be a blessing. It's about consciously seeing the blessings, the gifts, and the lessons every day. And even what appears tragic. May look tragic, but how can we see the blessing in it? How can we make a blessing from it? I heard this week of a story of an older guy. His daughter lived in the mountains around Asheville, ones where they really were devastated. And her wedding was last week, and he was determined he was going to get there to give her away. He had made that promise to her, and he was going to do it. And so he got as close to her as he could. They were 11 miles away from where the wedding was going to take place, and all the roads were wiped out. And so he started walking 11 miles. He said he was getting through. He said, but what really scared him was the rescuers with bulldozers and backhoes. They were trying to clear out the way, but it was at night and they couldn't see him. So he picked up a reflective yard sign, one of the little red round ones, and he was carrying that so he could make a signal to them that he was on the road, so they wouldn't hit him with a backhoe or bury him with a bulldozer. He made it to his daughter's wedding, and he's gifted the reflector to the wife, to his daughter and the son-in-law. And he says, it's my hope, my prayer, this reflector, that you will be able to reflect each other's love back to you. Now think about it. I'm sure that couple, they're going to get mixers, blenders, bread makers, the occasional iron. They're going to get all kinds of gift. But I bet you that reflector will make it to the next generation. Somehow, they're going to share that story with their kids and tell them about the day Grandpa walked 11 miles to affirm their love, to affirm their communion. 11 miles. Doesn't seem like a lot, but walking it in a storm, that's bravery, that's courage, and that will have an impact. Jesus said in the Gospel of Thomas, I am a lamp unto the world. I'm a lamp. It's a reminder that each of us has a divine spark, the capacity to name and proclaim our experience as part of the universe, as part of all. We're not separated from life. We are active participants in the unfolding of it. And we get to decide, are we going to be part of the unfoldment of love, or part of the unfoldment of confusion? Charles Fillmore, he was the founder of Unity. He says, words are seeds. And when we are sowing living words every moment, we will bloom and blossom a garden of life. And we get to proclaim what we're giving out to life. We get to proclaim what we're bringing into life. We're speaking our truth and affirming the miracles that we see before we, by naming them, by proclaiming them, by making them our own. It's not a thing about just positive thinking. It's about aligning our words with our deep truth and to know that we are co-creating with Spirit. In Mark, Jesus said, whatever you ask for in prayer and believe, you will receive, and it will be yours. To proclaim our miracles, to declare it as already done, and to stand in the belief that the unfoldment is happening now, even when we don't see it happen, even when we don't necessarily see the good, to step out into faith and make that that declaration. Neville Goddard, he said, imagination is the gateway of reality. Your hopes, your dreams are the gateway to a reality. When we imagine, when we see and feel our miracles as real, we are making them our own, and we step into the truth of who we are. And this is where faith comes from. And Hebrews says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Making our miracles our own is trusting in the process. It's trusting in the knowing that we're good enough to have miracles. You are good enough to have every blessing of life rain down upon you. There is nothing too hard for God, and there is nothing too good for you. We want to step out into it, even when you don't think it's a possibility. I had a wonderful rabbi friend in Atlanta, and she used to share this story. And I think I might have shared it, but I'll go ahead and share it again. And it was about her great-great-grandmother. Her great-great-grandmother was born in Russia in the time of World War I. And she had her child, and her child was a daughter. And her child was born with a club foot. And when the child came to be born with a club foot and being a female, the husband ran off. He didn't want anything to do with it. And they went to all the doctors they could find in their little village, And finally, the woman said, I hear there's wonderful doctors in America. I'm taking my girl to America. Her father told her, he said, what God gives you, you accept. You accept what God gives you. She said, what God gives you, you work with. You work with it. And she crawled underneath the barbed wire to get to Finland, to get to a boat, to get on the boat and get to America. As they were approaching Ellis Island, rumor went around the boat that the agents on Ellis Island were quick to turn away anybody that had any birth defect at all. And there she was with her little baby with a clubbed foot. An old rabbi came by, and he said, you pay them no mind. You don't pay a bit of attention to them. They don't know what they're talking about. He said, I will write a prayer for you. And he says, you're going to hang it around your neck. And he says, this prayer is going to blind those agents to your baby. They won't even be able to see your baby. So he wrote out a prayer. He put it on a leather string. He put it around her neck. The next morning, as they was approaching Ellis Island, she woke up to an impacted tooth, and her face was swollen out beyond recognition. When she went through the lines, the agents were focused on her face and paid the baby no mind. They were blind to the baby, as the rabbi had said. When we're living in alignment, miracles will come to us, and we take steps before them. We step out in faith, acting as it's already happened, and what shows up more will show up. And when we do this, we'll be able to proclaim that our lives reflects the miracles, and we'll be able to name them and proclaim them, knowing that we're living a miracle already, that our lives are a divine unfoldment of perfection, that we're here to proclaim our divinity as our birthright. It is your birthright to live in love and joy and peace, to know that we are nobody's victim. We're not a victim to this world. We're not a victim to the government. We're not a victim to the turmoil. We are here to be a lamp unto the world, a miracle unfolding, the goodness and God and glory of God made manifest. And it's within everyone to do. Spirit has faith in you. God called you out from stardust by name so that you can be here to proclaim the goodness and glory of your soul through your love and compassion. It's the truth in your life this morning. It's the truth in mine, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Amen. And so it is. A call to action. I believe I once said, or the Dalai Lama equally said at one point in time, he said, if you don't think you can make, anyone who doesn't think they can make a difference, that one person can make a difference, has never tried to go to sleep with a mosquito in their bedroom. I hope you never lose your sense of wonder. You get your fill to eat, but always have that hunger. May you never take one single breath for granted. God forbid love ever leave you empty-handed. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. And promise me that you'll give fate a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you never fear those mountains in the distance, and never settle for the path of least resistance. Living might mean taking chances, but it's worth taking. Loving might be a mistake, but it's worth making. Don't let some hell-bent heart leave you bitter. When you come close to settling, don't reconsider. Give the heavens above more than just a passing glance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. Time is a wheel in constant motion. I hope you dance, always rolling us along. I hope you dance. Who wants to look back on their lives and wonder where all those years have gone? I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give fate a fighting chance. When you get the choice to sit it out and dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you, Don. So now we come to the time where we support our center, and we support this amazing place because it is an amazing place. It's a place of love and encouragement and inspiration, and your support is making it possible. And as I always tell you, you can support us in a couple of ways. You can volunteer with us, you can support us in thought, and certainly you can support us with coin. However you choose to support us, take your intentions and place it over your heart, and read with me this affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I joyfully and freely give, I join in the divine flow, and all I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. So we thank you in advance for your support. If the ushers have stepped down, Don, I know you got something great for it.
Well, I wish you all of us, very good fortune in this coming week. We have to envision it, right, Rev?
Yes.
I see trees of green and red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see clouds of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of a rainbow, how pretty in the sky. They're also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands and saying, how do you do? All they're really saying, I love you. And I hear babies cry, and I watch them grow. And they'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. colors of a rainbow so pretty in the sky are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying that I love you, and I hear babies cry, and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Oh, thank you, Don. One of my favorites of all time. And thank you, Betsy. And thank you for your support and your contributions. You're keeping this place alive and going. So know that the good that you're doing is going to become reflected back to you in multiple ways. So we thank it, we bless it, we release it, knowing it does its good and perfect work, returning to us multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, before we leave, just a reminder, we do need some help over here in the corner to do an envelope stuffing. But before we go on our way, let's end with a final treatment. I'm going to do it in the first person. Take it in for yourself. Let's say something that works for you, hold tight to that. Let's say something that doesn't work for you, well, just let that part slide by. But just know this truth with me today. There is but one God and one mind and one power, and that power is perfect love, it's divine intelligence. It created me from itself plus nothing else. I'm not all of God, but all that I am is God walking the soil of St. Augustine. So here today, I can lift my eyes up to a better knowing. I can look past all the turmoil and confusion that the world may be throwing at me, and I can look out and say, it is a wonderful world. It is a wonderful world of love and compassion, of kindness, and I am making it even better. I'm making the world a better place for my having been in it. And I know I'm supported every step of the way by God's love, its power and creation. There's a wonderful miracle unfolding through me, for me, by me, and for the whole world will be better because I have chosen to know a better idea about myself. I have chosen to see myself as God sees me, not wounded, not a victim, but bold and dynamic out in the world, making it a better place. So this morning as I go forward and I hear all the weather reports, I hear all the political drama, I'm not going to allow that stuff to affect me. I have my armor on. I know who I am and whose I am, a child of the Most High, here and making a way, creating a blessing, being a blessing, lifting my eyes up and allowing the love and compassion of God to rain down on me. It's my truth. Every cell of my being radiates this right knowing. And I release this prayer unto the mind of God to do its good and perfect, bold and dynamic work, returning to me multiplied abundantly. And together we say, so it is. All right, my friends, I'm going to leave you with one last thought, and that is your life. Your life, not a problem to be solved. It's a miracle unfolding. Your job this week is to go name your miracle, proclaim your miracle, make it your own. God bless us all. Now let us go be the miracle Spirit is calling us to be. Until we see each other again, this is Reverend Ken with Don wishing you many blessings.
What you gonna do when the war's all over? Sing it from the rooftops, roll in the clover, dance with my children, kiss their mother, go to the graveyard, tell my brother, take a big bite of that peace prospectus, send my medals in a box to Texas, bury my khakis in a hole without me, turn in my last ticket to glory. War, war, I'm giving up war forevermore. I'm giving up guts, giving up glory. glory, giving up a living in a dying story. War, war, I'm giving up war forevermore. Why don't you come too? It's gonna be crowded, don't say no. I swear I never have doubted that together we'd be giving up war. Hey, what you gonna do when the bells start ringing? Grown men crying, children singing, radios rocking with the news they're bringing. Grab your partner, come out swinging, dance around the circle in the middle of a square. Dream about a battle with no one there, singing to the stars where hope awaits us. Hand in hand we make a mighty chorus. War, war, I'm giving up war forevermore. I'm giving up guts, giving up glory, giving up a living in a burned out story. War, war, I'm giving up war forevermore. Why don't you come too? It's gonna be crowded, don't say no. I swear I never have doubted that together we'd be giving up war. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try and love one another right now. 'Cause love is just the song we sing. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try and love one another right now. Now I'm a giving up war forevermore. Why don't you come too? It's gonna be crowded, don't say no. I swear I never have doubted that